Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1908B, and today's date is July 4th, 2019, and the title of the episode is Independence Day Message Sent and Received, Countermeasures in Place. Now, before we get started, we've been talking about protecting your devices, protecting yourself from big tech. I mean, it's the year 2019, and if you're not using a VPN by now on your desktop, tablet, or mobile device while you browse the internet, then you're really exposing yourself to a lot of potential danger. Here, let me show you how easy this is. Click Connect. Once I'm connected, my IP address is now different than before. See? This month, Virtual Shield is offering a 4th of July celebration special. Sign up for free for 30-day trial to Virtual Shield VPN and see what the hype is all about. You have nothing to lose. Click the link below. Let's get into the economic collapse, political and geopolitical news. Now, we need to remember that the swamp is not just the Dems, it is also the Republicans. And there are many other government officials within government that are part of the swamp. Remember, the swamp is wide and deep. And we need to watch their actions, not what they're saying, but what they do. And we're starting to see certain individuals that are getting a little nervous, and they are showing us how they are part of the swamp. Now, very interestingly, Justin Amash, he decided to quit the Republican Party. Trump tweeted out the following: "Great news for the Republican Party, as one of the dumbest and most disloyal men in Congress is quitting the party. No collusion, no obstruction. Knew he couldn't get the nomination to run again in the great state of Michigan. Already being challenged for his seat, a total loser." And we need to understand why Amash kind of turned and started to question Trump and started to push impeachment. Remember, his family is tied in with the Chinese. They have a business, and it looks like they don't like what is happening with trade with the Chinese. And you can see by his actions, something is up. Now, Trump sent out a tweet yesterday, and this single tweet prompted federal judges to convene an emergency conference over the 2020 census citizenship question. Now, what was the tweet? Well, Trump tweeted out the following: "The news reports about the Department of Commerce dropping its quest to put the citizenship question on the census is incorrect, or, to state it differently, fake. We are absolutely moving forward, as we must, because of the importance of the answer to this question." So, from that tweet, all of a sudden, federal judges decided to convene an emergency conference. Adam Klasfeld, a reporter for the Courthouse News, said that Trump's tweet, this single tweet, prompted 2 U.S. federal judges presiding over census litigation to convene emergency conferences, one of which is starting now. So, to clarify, the first federal judge convened the emergency conferences. The second announced he would convene an emergency conference depending on what happens during the first. And he added this in his follow-up tweet. So it looks like something was happening here. Trump tweeted this out, and now they're discussing this. We'll have to see how this all plays out and what comes out of this. Now, very interestingly, it seems that Hillary Clinton, she was supposed to be a keynote speaker for FireEye, and this is hilarious, the cybersecurity conference, and she was going to be the main speaker, but she withdrew from this for unforeseen circumstances. Now remember, Clinton had a server in her house. It was completely unsecure. She bleached her emails, deleted like 33,000 emails. And of course, they're not really gone. The Patriots, they have all the emails. They have everything. They tried to get rid of it, but they couldn't get rid of it all. And the Patriots, they have it. It's part of the investigation. And this is very interesting that she decided to withdraw from this. So what happened? Well, we don't know. But Nate Kane tweeted out the following: "I am laughing my butt off right now after receiving this email from FireEye. Apparently, Hillary Clinton will no longer be the keynote speaker for one of the largest cybersecurity conferences in Washington, D.C. And he put laugh out loud, laugh out loud. I must have looked at their comment sections. Now, I wonder if Hillary got word of something or something else was brought to her attention, And she decided, something, I better not do this, because think about it. Whatever she says there is going to go against what she actually did. And I believe those around her said, listen, don't do this. This is going to be a disaster, because they know that there are certain investigations going on. They know there's an email investigation. They know there's a Uranium One investigation going on. They know there's a FISA investigation going on right now. And most likely, they probably said, listen, you need to back out right now. Now, down at the border, Trump is hitting back in regards to the facilities down at the southern border. We know that AOC was down there, Nancy Pelosi tweeted out, and now there is a crisis at the southern border, even though they were telling us that Trump was completely making this up. And of course, what they're doing is they're blowing everything out of proportion. Why? It's a propaganda stunt on their end. Think about what they did. They projected everything onto Trump, and it's exactly what they're doing. Now remember, many of the third world migrants storming the border are living in squalid conditions and do not have electricity or indoor plumbing back home. Trump tweeted out the following: if illegal immigrants are unhappy with the conditions in the quickly built or refitted detention centers, just tell them not to come. All problems solved. Let's think about this for a second. The illegals, they're coming up from countries where their conditions are terrible. Like we said just before, a lot of them don't have indoor plumbing. A lot of them don't have electricity. A lot of them don't even have windows on their homes. There are boards that they lift up. Now, they're making this long journey, thousands of miles, living outside with no running water. Some have tents. Conditions are awful, and there are predators all around to take advantage of them. They make it to Mexico, and they camp out in tents. There's really no facilities there. And they're all squeezed in under gigantic tent systems. Many of them don't even have beds or sleeping bags. Then they enter the U.S. illegally. The U.S. takes them to the centers. They have 4 walls, a roof, running water, toilets, showers, food, health care. Remember, these are not prisons. They are free to leave and go back to Mexico anytime they want. Actually, they're free to leave and go back to their country anytime they want. The only reason you would stay in a detention center is because you want to get into the U.S. So when you look at the detention center, they have everything that they didn't have before. And they're getting meals every day. Remember, these are not designed as 5-star hotels. This is to keep people here until they're able to get to the courts. That's it. I mean, if they don't like it, they can go across the border to Mexico. It's not really that big of a deal. I mean, think about the Americans who are living here, who are citizens. Think about the tent cities. Think about San Francisco, where the homeless people are living on the streets. Think about California, where there's 10 cities along the road. These people have better facilities than the American citizen living in this country. I mean, does anyone realize this? Go take a trip to San Francisco. Go take a trip to California. Actually, go take a trip to New York City. You'll see the same exact thing. And I know there's many other cities and many other places that we can see this. But the point is that there are people right here who are American citizens that don't have food every day, that don't have toilets, running water, and a roof over their head. They're living along a noisy road. And we have all these people telling us how terrible it is down at the facilities. And again, these are not prisons. They can come and go as they want. I mean, they can't come into the United States fully, but they can go back. It's not really that big of a deal. Trump tweeted out the following: Mexico is doing a far better job than the Democrats on the border. Thank you, Mexico. And yes, Mexico has really stepped up, and they're doing a fantastic job. Why? Because Trump placed the tariffs and used them as leverage to get Mexico to do what he wanted. Now, very interestingly, we've been talking about NXIVM, Rachel Chandler, and we're starting to get information that Andy Rubin, who is a multimillionaire former Google executive who co-founded Android, he's accused of running an illicit sex ring where he paid extravagant amounts for his mistresses to be involved in threesomes and other type of sex acts. And I believe we're going to hear a lot more stories come out where these individuals, they're all part of many different sex rings. Remember, Q has been telling us that Ray Chandler Epstein Island is 100 times worse than NXIVM. I believe NXIVM was the introduction to get everyone on the same page. Yes, there are sex cults. Yes, people are branded. This was the beginning stages to get people to notice that these do exist. It's just not someone out there throwing around a conspiracy theory. Now you can see through what happened with the trials that they were convicted of all of this. So it is real. So this was the beginning stages to get people used to Epstein Island, get used to Ray Chandler, get used to those individuals that we're supposed to look up to. I mean, this is what the deep state wanted you to do. Oh, it's a Hollywood actor. This person you need to look up to. It's a politician. You need to look up to this person. It's a very wealthy person. You need to look up to this person. And they're the ones that we should idolize. Now, through NXIVM, we see that this is not the case. And I'm talking about all those people that are still sleeping. They are now waking up to the fact that, yes, these individuals, wealthy, these individuals, Hollywood actresses, actors, they're all part of this. And once the next phase breaks, people will have an easier time accepting all of this. Now, we know that Trump and the Patriots, they placed tariffs on China, they banned Huawei, and there was a reason for this. And we have to remember that the deep state is not only here in the United States. They are around the world. They have black sites. They can control many of the governments. They infiltrated technology companies. And Huawei is no different than Google or Facebook or YouTube or Twitter or Microsoft or any of the other companies. A Huawei insider came out and said that Huawei's relationship with the Chinese Communist Party runs very, very deep. Now, this is very interesting because the Chinese Communist Party, the deep state, they support Huawei. They receive special treatment from the CCP. And according to Xinhua News Agency from September 2009, China Development Bank and Huawei signed a round of strategic cooperation agreements to expand the credit line between the two parties to $30 billion. It was an increase of $20 billion from the credit line provided in 2005. So, in every country, there are deep state players. And the deep state is involved in technology companies. And we're starting to see that this is all coming out. And there's a reason why Trump and the Patriots decided to ban Huawei. And again, through the trade deals, Trump and the Patriots are allowing certain Huawei technology back into the country, but it won't affect national security. And they're making sure that it doesn't. Now, it looks like Putin has signed the bill to suspend participation in the INF Treaty. This was an INF Treaty back in 1987. And it looks like now both Russia and the United States, they have suspended participation. There's a reason for this, because they're going to create a new treaty. Remember, everything that the deep state has done in the past with trade, with treaties, with other agreements, Trump and the Patriots and the rest of the world, they're going to remove them and recreate them. Remember, all that was done in the past was done for the deep state globalist central bank agenda. It all has to be reversed. Now, of course, the mainstream media, they're going to make a really big deal saying that Trump wants nuclear war, that Trump wants to fire missiles into Russia, or Russia's going to attack the United States. This is not the case whatsoever. Trump and Putin, they are on the same page, and they have to bring other countries into this agreement, and it has to be rewritten. Now, we can see that Trump, he's really playing up the entire narrative that Iran better watch out what they're doing. Now, Trump did this before with North Korea. Remember, behind the scenes, I do believe there's already a deal made, the framework of the deal. And Trump now is doing what he did with North Korea, putting it out there, keeping the mainstream media, the deep state, off track. He tweeted out the following: Iran has just issued a new warning. Rouhani says that they will enrich uranium to any amount we want if there is no new nuclear deal. Be careful with the threats, Iran. They can come back to bite you like nobody has been bitten before. Now, it sounds terrible, but this is what Trump does. This is what the patriots do. They keep the mainstream media, the deep state, completely off track, and they think that Trump is going to go into Iran. He did this with North Korea. He did this with Venezuela. He did this with Syria. And what were the results there? Well, if we take a look at this, Syria, he wants peace. He's removing the troops. Afghanistan, troops are being removed. North Korea, he just went down to North Korea and was the first president to walk into North Korea and shook the hands of Kim Jong-un. So he does this to keep the mainstream media, the deep state, completely busy with other things while they do everything in the background. Now, we know that the 4th of July celebration in D.C. is not going to be broadcasted by ABC, CBS, NBC, MSNBC. They all announced their refusal to broadcast this. Now, remember, this is Independence Day. This is about America. And yes, they're trying to spin this, that this is white supremacist and Betsy Ross is the flag of white supremacists. And they're trying to spin all this around and get everyone on their side. But look at the mainstream media ratings. They're continually dropping every single day. A lot of people are not agreeing with where the deep state, the mainstream media wants to bring them. They're continually pushing their agenda, but the rest of the country, they're starting to wake up to the fact that their agenda is a little different in what the people are believing. And because of this, RSBN, Fox 10 Phoenix, OANN, they're going to be broadcasting the entire celebration. Now, I put this on my Twitter account. I put it on Gab. I am on Gab right now. But Gab seems like they're switching their whole entire system. I will also have it on the X22Report.com website. So if you like to watch the events there, you can. Maybe the mainstream media will give in and actually, broadcast it. But again, why do we even want to go to these news stations? We really don't want to anymore. Now, something very interesting. On July 4th, 3 of the 5 founding fathers, presidents, died on Independence Day. Was this a coincidence? I don't believe in coincidences. This is just very, very odd. John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, and James Monroe died on July 4th, the Independence Day anniversary. Now, this gets a little bit more strange because Jeb Bush tweeted out the following: 3 presidents die on July 4th. Just a coincidence? We know that the deep state players, they like to send messages via Twitter. We've seen it with Comey. We've seen it with Maggie Haberman. We've seen it with Clinton. We've seen it with many of them, Brennan and the rest. And this is just a very strange message to put out there on the 4th of July. So you have to think to yourself, what is Jeb Bush trying to say? Is he trying to say, okay, it is a go? Now, think about it. We did have a warning that there might be some type of an event on the 4th of July. Do the Patriots already know about what is about to go down? Did they hear chatter? Because they know they are stuck at this point. Think about this for a second. They know that the investigations are winding down right now. They know that they're going to be coming after them. The entire Mueller investigation was a flop for them. They didn't get what they needed to impeach Trump, to get him out of office. They've tried everything. Porn stars, another woman who said she was raped, which is completely fake, phony, and false, that he's a misogynist pig, he's racist. I mean, they continually keep this up, and guess what? Nothing has worked. And we've said this before. They might take this to the next level. And this is just a very strange tweet to put out on July 4th. Now, the U.S. Secret Service put out a tweet on July 4th. The Secret Service has the no-fail mission of protecting American leaders, and we do so with pride, especially on Independence Day. Have a safe and happy 4th of July. Now, I do believe the patriots already knew about this. They heard the chatter. They're monitoring everything the deep state is doing, and they're already prepared for this. Remember, I do believe Trump's celebration is not just for the people, but it's to send a message to the deep state that he has the military behind him. And this is a very strong message. Remember, Q has told us there's going to be military tribunals for treason, for crimes. And I believe this is a message to the deep state. So the patriots received the message and they countered the message. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.